take some time off, like a month or so, and tour Italy with the car. I think that's sort of like my dream.
Yeah, man, that sounds great. It's just a shame you're not a drinker, though. Some of that wine, oh my days, and they're good at that, Flix. They're really good at that.
They are?
Wine
Okay.
country, wine country.
Yes, of course, of course. So we got some sort of pieces of the flop bottom pair against the gut shot with the backdoor flush draw. But 10 deuce taking all the clubs away.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, not to talk about pizza, of course. I mean, the pizza will be amazing, right?
Yeah, actually, when we went to Positano, we flew into Naples, into Napoli. So got the full pizza experience there, and then when you're in
Oh,
Tuscany, then you get the full pasta experience. And so yeah, we really did the rounds. It was pretty
wow,
cool.
that's
Yeah.
insane. It's actually Neapolitan. That's actually
Yep.
not Neapolitan pizza, right?
Yep.
This is
That's
the
right.
one with the small crust, with the thin crust.
That's
Not the small crust.
that's the super famous one. Yeah, that you get in Napoli.
Oh, damn, I'm getting hungry already.
Oh mate, I wish I hadn't said anything now. Yeah, it was a bad choice. we're gonna have to take a lunch break in a second, guys. It's all good.
Yes.
All right, so we are down to 36 guys, and so we're actually getting through it pretty quickly here. Let me just give you guys a quick update. So if you've just joined us, this is the 109 Sunday Million, 1 million guaranteed progressive KO 2-day event with a new structure. Currently, if you bust out, you'll be guaranteed something in the region of $590 US. The next pay jump is at 32, so we're 4 away from a pay jump here.
Again, ace jack getting folded. It's insane. Like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything. I think I would
we've
find a way to
been
play
doing it
this.
wrong this whole time. We've been learning
Yes.
it. We've been learning it wrong.
Ace jack offsuit is. I mean, it's a bad. It's not a bad hand. It's a tough hand. It's a tough hand. I gotta admit. Also jamming with the kings, and I think this is a close spot. I think depends
Yeah.
on the bounty. I can see the bounty. $700. Okay, there we go.
717, yeah, and it looks like the kings are going to be really clean here. Yep,
Yeah.
and that's it. Full double for Pasha there with kings. Not too shabby. That's what you're looking for when you got kings.
Mm-hmm.
And straight into the frying pan again. Pocket queens. Now ace 10 of spades. Really awkward from this position. Does decide to 3-bet. These are two pretty big stacks as well.
Yeah. It's probably gonna work. I don't. Well, I'll not. No, it's queens. I saw king queen for some reason. Like, well, this is gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. Oh, queen's actually just calling. Interesting.
Yeah, calling, trying to fade an ace or a king. Here comes king high.
That worked well.
Yeah.
They're still gonna call one, I think.
I mean, if you're going to play queen slow, I think there's no chance you can get away from the flop here.
No, I will kill set as actually. I mean, he's the range advantage, so he can definitely fire another bullet. I wouldn't mind it. Doesn't have to be big, even probably like 3 million or something. 3.5. No, he checks. That's easy.
Or you just do that instead. That's fine too, I guess.
Yeah, just hit.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, he asked for it by slow playing queens. That's what you get.
I did. Oh man, yeah. He was in such good shape on the turn too, but yeah, there you have it. Don't do it. Don't be like that. You know the call here is wrong.
Yes.
All right, good fold. All right, he played it slow, but he got away from it. Okay, and there you go. All right, gang. So we're going on a break. All right, so that's our first break, everyone, and we are down to 35 players in this Sunday Million KO special. That means we are 34 places away from crowning our winner, who will walk away with over $52,000 plus bounties, of course. Don't forget about that. Currently, Chipilazinho from Brazil is leading the pack with 28 million chips. Going to go on a 5-minute break, and we'll get back to the action in just a moment. So, Flix, my friend, tell me more about GRND number 3, Grind Live 3. What is that the official title? Grind Live?
Grind Live. Yeah,
Grind
we
Live.
call it Grind Live. It's been amazing. You should definitely come next time. Grind Live 4 is already planned for November. And I mean, we got inspired. I gotta say, I got inspired by different events like Lex Live. Obviously,
Yep.
Lex Live was a huge inspiration. Lex Live, we've been at both, right?
I
You've been
think
at
I
both.
think we've been to every Lex Live so far, I believe. And actually just before we came on air, we were trying to remember the last time that we've done commentary together. We actually did commentary live from Lex Live 1, which was in Namur, Belgium. The
Yes.
first time round, and I was like, "Yeah, wow, blast from the past." That was like 5 years ago or something now, wasn't it? It was crazy.
Exactly, and it's the first time we met actually
Yeah,
in person. I think
that's right.
it was a blast. I mean, Lex Live was a blast, so that's something I always had in the back of my mind. In the future, I want to have something like this for our community, for the German
Yeah,
community as
yeah.
well. And then all of a sudden, like the Herz Damen Club. I don't know if you've heard about them. It's like
Well aware of them. Yeah, yeah. With
female poker players in the German community. They got together to
yeah.
build a poker community club, and they had that event in Grand Casino Asch, and that was amazing. That was just such a great vibe. It was like we have this casino which has like a downtowny Vegas vibe, like a Golden Nugget vibe, and the staff is so friendly and they're so nice and they're so accommodating. And I thought like this is the perfect partner to try and have our own event there, and then that's what we did. The second version was like the first version was a small one in Cologne where I just held like a little keynote about variants, and we played a little poker tournament with just 100 people. Well, I mean, I mean, it's insane if you say 100 people are showing up just to play poker with you, or
Yeah.
it's insane if you think about it. And then Grind Live 2 was already packed with around 300 people. And Grind Live 3 was next level. I mean, we had like a stream running 24/7, pretty
Cool.
much, or like 12 to 14 hours a day.
Love that.
We could cover all the events. We could switch to. I took my camera with me to my live table. It was people were just so friendly and so happy. It's the perfect. I mean, you know the deal. It's the perfect thing to just try out live poker at an event like this. If you're not familiar with live poker, you can get scared. People are like, casino players are usually just, they're in a different mood. It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
But if you know people and you can connect with them, it's much easier to do your first thing of live poker, right?
No, you're absolutely right, and I echo everything that you say in that regard. And how many people do we know that went to Lex Live or whatever for the first time, and that was their first experience, and then just came out of it with such a positive attitude towards the game. And we all need to do our part to try and get more people playing poker, because it is a fantastic game, and it when treated with respect and responsibility can be a lot of fun, and something that is very rewarding as you progress and become a better player. And actually getting into your first live tournament is extremely important in order to sort of enjoy that aspect of it, if you're coming strictly from playing online or maybe not playing at all. But I absolutely will come to the next one. I think I said to myself I was definitely going to go this year. And then, as I said, I've just been traveling so much recently for all these. We had this sort of crazy wedding season where everybody wanted to get married after 2 years of lockdown and all this stuff like that. So it's been pretty hectic, and I'm absolutely ready to show up to the next one.
Absolutely.
So next event's in November. It's coming up that early.
Yeah,
cool.
16th through 20th November. We already set up the dates at the beginning of the year because we knew we wanted to have these, and we just want to grow these and just make them even better every single time and try to find something new. And the most funny aspect about it is actually, if I come to think of it, that we also try to include everybody that's not in the poker world or from the poker community, like partners and friends and family that come along just to take a peek and just have a watch. They're just invited to join our fun sit and go table or play some fun games alongside, which is, I mean, at Lex Live, the community sit and goes were one of the best.
That was by far, that was so good. And just well made. Just like you're walking around, you're like, hey, I'm not sure if I've met you yet. And then everyone exchanges their screen names. You're like, oh yeah, of course, I hang out with you all the time. I just didn't know, I didn't put a name to a username. And then you're like, hey, we're going to do like a 9-handed thing, $50 in, $40 in, $20 in, whatever it was. And that was definitely a lot of fun. All right, guys, so the action is kicking off again. Just before we wrap up this segment, obviously, guys, hit up Felix on social media, and he will keep you up to date with all of the cool stuff he's doing. Prolific content creator, this guy. Honestly, can get some claps in the chat.
Thank you.
All right, back to the action here. Ace King is going to open right out of the gates here.
There's some numbers coming in from my moderators. Actually, we had 1,400 runners in total in all tournaments.
That's incredible! Wow, that's really jumped up. That's that's really impressive, dude. That's so cool.
We close to doubled the amount of money that was played for after the
Wow.
second Grand Prix event, which
All
was
right, and then November. Here we go. Let's get it on. Sounds great.
Yep, yep. Everybody come for November, even though we're German. Everybody's more than welcome to come and hang out. But I mean, the casino is international, so they know their ways around. So don't worry, you'll be in good hands with us.
Awesome.
So 3-5 suited for Leo, makes an open. Big stacks clashing now.
Yup, and both players with a gut shot. Just looking at some prizes here, guys. So as I said, the next pay jump isn't until 31st, excuse me. Currently, players are guaranteed $590.20, and then of course any bounties that they've accrued so far. But 31st place, excuse me, is going to be a pay jump to 827. So a pretty considerable jump there.
Good check raise, by the way, by Yarik. I really like that play.
Yeah.
And he got the job done.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of making a play against the big stack. I think that takes some guts. Like if you're up against another big stack in a situation so deep in the tournament, to follow up on a check raise like that, I think that's.
Yeah, I think he picks a really nice combo as well. He's blocking the straight. He's blocking like some of like this sort of like 9-10, that kind of thing, where you're going to have like a pair and a gut shot. And of course he has the gut shot as backup as well. So if he does get looked up by a second pair or top pair plays it a little bit slower, still the opportunity to make the nuts. I think generally speaking, you're going to see a lot of check raises, sort of GTO check raises with gut shots, and very frequently it might even be like the worst gut shot available on the table or something like that. But in this case, when you're sort of blocking some of the combinations that would feel more comfortable opening from the button, I think that's really nice too, because they're just not going to have as many of the combos that want to continue versus a check raise in that situation.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, we see Ace Jack being played finally. It's an open under again.
Yep, and hopefully going to win too. Or I mean, I feel like we're just going to start getting some serious confirmation bias here, Felix.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Ace Jack. You raise, get folds. There you go. That's how you do it. That's how
you play.
That's the pro line. That's the pro line.
And Ace Jack suited. Let's see what happens with this one.
Yeah.
This is how you play Ace Jack, you know. Just raise, everybody folds.
Life would be so much easier if you could just raise fold, you know.
But to be honest, you're not mad if you're not getting called.
No, yeah, exactly. I totally feel the vibe there for sure.
Knüppel in the big blind. Yeah, Knüppel was definitely running hot. But I can't always credit it to running hot for Knüppel anymore. I mean, there's something about his playing style. It works. It just works. I don't know why, but it works.
Just feels the force.
Yeah.
Casey UTG here with like 15 bigs. Ugh. Yeah, I kind of don't blame him for that, to be honest, especially with some of the bigger stacks in, to his left and to his right here, not in the big blind, but also I will kill set having position against him. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit on the too tightish side, but I can really appreciate how awkward it can be to play ace-10 in that position, and then with all of the additional sort of negative aspects of being covered by so many players at the table. So I can get behind that.
I mean, my coaches always told me ace-10 offsuit probably from the early position is going to be a 0 EV open in most situations anyways.
Yeah.
So depending on the stacks behind you, especially when they cover you, it's probably perfectly fine to just fold. And it's probably too many chips to jam. So I think that's the other consideration.
Sure. Yeah, I can definitely get behind that.
And even though it feels wrong, the only option that is left is just folding.
Oh man, look at this spot, guys. 9-4 off. I feel like this is a little bit OOL. I don't know, but
it works.
It works. Easy game. Love it though. I absolutely love how out of line that is.
I mean, it's nice. It's just playing. This is something that I've realized is really very, very prominent in MTT poker. That's really confused me when I switched from cash games to MTT poker. Is plays like these. In cash games, it would be like totally minus EV, making no money at all. In a spot like this, or like long-term minus EV, probably.
Yeah.
Against most players, not all. But in a situation like this, with stack sizes, can work. And
A full double.
wow, Leo losing a hand. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, that. I mean, I think blind v blind, you can see what he was doing there. It seems like a pretty reasonable jam, just running into the dominator.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair play. No, I know what you're saying, Felix. Actually, I have a friend who played cash for a very long time, and he started to date a girl who was very successful in MTT poker, and he used to watch her, playing a Sunday session, and he's like, I just don't understand what's going on here. Like, I'm just never going to open this hand from this position, and I'm never going to be 3-betting a hand as weak as this from this position because, it's just straight dollar EV, and,
Yeah.
and then as you say, like in tournament poker, like you can just pick these spots, and they're just so potent and so powerful. And if you're picking those spots better than other players, this sort of future game value of you just finding those like cheeky little spots and the sort of snowball effect that can have moving into the later stage of the tournaments is so completely at odds with the sort of actual just straight dollar EV of doing anything in a cash game where you're playing very, very straightforward and you're playing according to hand strength very frequently,
Yeah. Understanding in MTG poker that it's not about the chips that have the chips have different value at each stage of the tournament. That's the key thing to understand. And once you get your head around this, it's getting a little bit easier, but it's still super complex. I always thought like tournament poker, nah, that's not complex. That's just random 20 big blind, 30 big blind, jamming, 3-betting, whatnot, clicking buttons. But it actually is quite complex indeed.
Depends if I'm winning in MTTs or not, because then I can feel either way. Like when you're winning MTTs, you're like, it's very complex. It's extremely, it really might be the most skilled form of poker. And then you're losing, and you're like, it's all 20 big blind, just shoving, and everyone's just gambling. Really at the end of the day, there's so much variance.
Exactly. But speaking of which, I mean, there is, to be honest, if you compare the two, there is no better feeling than winning a tournament. I mean,
sure, I completely agree. Yeah.
It's just like if you win a tournament, it doesn't matter how small it is. Just a $1 tournament, a $5 tournament. Winning a tournament just feels great. No doubt about that. And it feels better than any cash game pot in the world could give you as a feeling, I think.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. There's a story,
Yes. Oh, we got another hand here. Queens for Yarrick, and Leo has Jack-10 suited.
Yep, Jack-10 suited. Definitely people can get sticky in these situations.
Yeah, and I also wonder what the best play here is with 20 bigs or coming from 25 big blinds, opening a hand like this. Do you want to see a flop? Do you not want to see a flop? It's a really tough spot, I think. Yeah, it's a really, really tough one. He does see a flop. And
yeah, it's one of those flops, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But at least you also have a backdoor flush draw, so the numbers are not that bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, and just a reminder, guys, so Leo Sear was our start of day 2 chip leader as well. So definitely been swinging a lot as we've entered into day 2. I'm not sure if Jack-10 is going to be able to get away. I mean, having queens with the Queen of Clubs is so nice. You really can just justifiably just get the rest of the chips in the middle, and there's not too much you're going to be that concerned about at this stage. That's it. That's for all of it.
Yeah.
It's also a hard turn as well because he could just be doing this with ace king with the ace of clubs or ace king queen with the king of clubs or something like that too. So it's pretty much impossible to get away once you've called pre. And sure enough, our start of day chip leader has been eliminated now, and he exits today's tournament in 34th place, taking home $590 and $4,293 in bounties. 4K in bounties.
So in total, he made more than 9th place prize money.
Isn't that nuts? That's crazy. Yeah, congratulations to you, sir. Obviously, probably hoping he would have gone further with the chip lead, but still, that is quite the accomplishment for finishing in 34th place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the one hand, I feel bad for Leo with that run that he started with. Of course, you always know how that feels when it turns around and then all of a sudden you bust in a single hand. But then again, in a hand like this, it gives me confidence back that, sometimes in a hand like this, I would defend and I would go broke and I would think like, do I have to defend? But if a good player like this defends a hand like this, I'm fine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think once you've hit that flop, there's so many reasons for you to want to continue on that turn. I mean, obviously the club does create more flushes, but it also creates a lot more opportunity for people to semi-bluff with hands that they would have 3-bet. So it's very, very tricky, and I think probably it's fine on in general.
It's one of those spots where you know you're not going to be happy when it goes in, but you probably just have to do it once you decide to go with a hand pre-flop, right?
Yeah.
Also, Plexo Twitch, I'm waiting for your unban request. Bring it. He's still banned in my chat. Well, it's probably for a reason because my mods are very, very good at this.
Have you ever done like the unban request streams before, Flix? I always thought that was a funny concept, but never actually did it myself.
I've done a couple, and they're quite funny. I always enjoy it when there's more people involved. Like I get a couple of guests on my stream for this, because then they can also decide. And like, that doesn't sound right. I think I would just ban him for life. And I sometimes I had guests on my stream when I did these, and I let them decide. You know, what do you think?
Oh, okay.
And they're like,
yeah,
ban.
I feel like I'm pretty loosey goosey. I don't think I'm too hot with the ban hammer, but when it happens, it's usually for a good reason. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. You know, I think on Twitch it's tough because obviously chat it's internet, and sometimes you don't know how people mean what they say.
Sure.
Because you don't have the emotions, you have only emojis. But
so
we got an all in here for Knuppel. And Knuppel holds.
There you go. That's a huge spot for him there,
nice.
Guys. Very congratulations. So Gabriel is eliminated there as we switch to feed B once again. So Gabriel left this tournament with $590 in prizes and $1,794 in bounty. So again, people taking home some pretty decent cash now. And
Knuppel now in a very, very comfortable position with 30 bigs.
Yeah,
I like to see that.
That was a huge flip for him there. I mean, I realize it's not a flip. He was dominating. It was a huge all-in that he definitely needed to win, because that was going to cripple him if that wasn't the case. So congratulations to Knuppel. Now, now sitting pretty.
And again, Ace Jack getting hammered one more time. Like Ace Jack is not the hand. It's just not the hand. We don't love Ace Jack. There's no. I think we should make an. I think I should make an Ace Jack, a love for Ace Jack club, because Ace Jack is such a. Nobody likes Ace Jack. They must be really sad. Like every Ace Jack in the boat must be really sad. They need a club.
Yeah, Ace Jack is. Yeah. We've been doing it wrong this whole time, Flix. Doing it wrong.
Yes, for sure.
If you can raise and take it down pre, that's the only way you play it. Otherwise, you just fold it. Just let it go every time.
Also, you just play if you know that you're going to win. That's when you play Ace Jack.
That's right.
Better to win.
So we are down to 32 players, guys. As I said, 31 is a pay jump, so we're one away from a pay jump to $827.98 per elimination. And then there were 32.
So funny, Nick. Like the last, I've done Sunny Million commentary now. It's the third time, I think, in the last couple of months I've done Sunny Million commentary, and every single time we've been having a member of the grind community somewhere in the mix. Like we had Brownie, who actually made second place, and the last time we had a guy, Andreas, who was just going rampant, going for every bounty. He was winning every all in. And now we got Knuppel, so it's sick to watch.
Yeah, like, that is really fun. It's a good vibe, and you know. There you go. You're just your content is just so fire. You're just sending people to final tables 24/7, Flix. You know that's what a great teacher you are.
That's what we do here at the grind community, of course. So you got to join.
All right. So.
No, actually, Knuppel is teaching. I think Knuppel should be teaching me, not I shouldn't be teaching him. Because Knuppel, like, it's Knuppel.
Love it. Love it.
But it goes the other way around as well. When Knuppel watches my stream, he goes like, "Why did you play it like that? I would have never played it like that." We always get into discussions like this. It's cool. I love it.
He goes, I think your mistake was just calling with Ace Jack pre-flop. It's a clear fold every single time.
I will definitely ask Knuppel about Ace Jack after this. I need some Ace Jack content.
Komplette Scheißehand.
Yeah, that sounds just about right.
That sounds like something he would say, right?
Yeah. Scheißhand.
Komplette Scheißehand.
Yeah. Actually, what you say, what Knossi used to say is just Schmutz.
Schmutz.
Which is dirt.
Yeah.
Schmutz.
Schmutz.
Ace Jack is Schmutz. Knüppel with the mighty 9-3 offsuit.
The mighty 9-3 offsuit.
Well, you know, on the other hand, I've seen Knüppel pull some crazy bluffs, especially against Lex. There's one legendary clip where he bluffs Lex, I think.
I think I've seen that one, yeah.
Huge pot, so...
What was he
He's
screaming?
definitely capable.
He was screaming Team Pro or something. Team Pro, Team Pro. What was he saying at the time? It was something like that.
Yes, it's a legendary clip.
Such a good clip.
So let's see what happens now with the king queen off in the big blind. I don't think Knüppel is going to do anything here, but I could imagine Gambler jamming preflop.
I was gonna say I think the jam is pretty sweet here, to be honest. Especially, I mean, again, you can justify so much as soon as you can win a bounty, right? There's just so much additional justification for playing a little bit more of an aggressive game. Plus, you know, it's only I think they're about 10 big blinds effective here, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, come on. Oh,
but this looks even nicer. I mean, this also probably gives Oku another incentive to bluff, but he doesn't.
I was going to say the Queen of Clubs actually probably is a decent card to go ahead and fire again once he's flatted pre. He's going to have a lot of 4s and 3s and gut shots and all that kind of stuff that will come along from on the first bet.
Yeah, I think I would have definitely jammed the turn. I would have at least considered jamming the turn in Oku's shoes, but then again, he dodged one.
Just absolutely blasted into top 2 pair. Yeah, exactly. That's right. But I'm actually still in your boat. Yeah, I think I probably would have been tempted there.
But that's the thing. Maybe we're missing something. Maybe we're missing the forest. You know, those players are feeling something we're not feeling.
We've become too cerebral, Felix. You know, we have to go back to our roots.
Yes, I think so. Like some way. Oh, tough one. But I think Knüppel gets away from this.
Yeah, I think this probably is a fold. Fold in my book, I think.
Yeah, he can't even take a bounty. He's covered. So. We got another player with a huge stack here and under the gun, John Silva with 21 million. That's quite a bit.
21 milli, 7-4 off. I mean, yeah, we got Mowgli up here in the big blind though with the 24 milli, so can't get too out of line here really. If I was in Gambler's shoes, but
yeah, I
mean, I wouldn't mind him opening 7-4 off if both players had 5 million, 9 million, something like that. I think that'd be pretty reasonable.
Yeah, if you can put some pressure on them. Oh. Gutsy raise from Casey. I don't think it's gonna get through.
Wow.
Oh, it is.
Wow.
I would have not expected that.
I mean, I was expecting at least a call there for sure. King 10 in
sure.
position seems like a monstrous hand to play there.
Even a good spot to jam, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
potentially.
you have still a lot of fold equity.
Potentially, yeah.
Drokos with the king queen suited, Casey with queen jack off on the button, which I would fold if I were in his shoes. Oh no, he thinks otherwise.
Yeah, very interesting here now. Ace-9 of spades in the small blind here too. Ooh, that's a big flop for queen jack here, especially with the jack of clubs. That does add a considerable amount of equity to the back door. And they actually give him the opportunity to bet now too. That's kind of crazy.
Well, that's a good card on the turn for Drokos. No draws getting there.
Yep.
And with the big blind not being in play, I think it's very important that the big blind is not in this pot because the big blind could have most of the 8x.
Yep.
And with small blind leading out, I think Drokos can feel quite comfortable now. And Casey's still getting a sort of decent price for his open-ended straight draw.
Yeah, I mean this is a really good. good price to try and make your straight. Obviously, the paired board can be a little bit scary in the situations where you've got somebody opening from earlier position, but I'm kind of surprised they fold here too. If you're going to come along with Queen Jack, this is pretty much the best spot you're going to find, and there's so much dead money in there already. I mean, I think you're probably making money just calling and just playing purely to hit the ace or the 9.
Yeah.
I think your pot
Also,
odds.
you have position, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the price that he gets there probably is already exceeds, and that's a big pot for King Queen there. Very nice hand.
Nice.
But
that plan by draw cost actually worked out. He got money from a hand that he otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah.
You know, he just checked the flop, and that way he got some action.
So I think the Queen Jack just has better than the correct price to call just purely to make the straight. But then also having the Jack of clubs is quite interesting too, because if it does fall as a club and both players slow down on the river, you can definitely try and represent a flush with that blocker in your hand too. So they're a really interesting one there for sure.
Nine's getting outdrawn by the Queen 6 in the big blind. Now draw cost on a roll. Hitting top pair. He's going for the check call. That queen, that king he probably doesn't like, but I don't think the 9s are gonna like it as well. So most likely gonna be another check.
9s just have showdown here really, so not sure if they're gonna want to turn their hand into a bluff. Never mind, we take it back.
It works.
And it works.
Okay.
Just snaps it in there. Easy game.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
It worked. It just worked. I can't argue against that.
Absolutely.
And now 9-7 suited. He's getting frisky.
Yeah, I mean he's got so many chippies here.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of chippies.
A lot of garbage, and Queen 10 actually is the best hand. Can you imagine that?
Okay, Mowgli has the hand to open here. He's 10 off. Shorty on the button here as well. That's definitely worth considering, but still a lot of big stacks behind him here, so it's a bit of a weird one. I think I'd probably still be in there from this position at least.
Yep. And Knüppel in the big blind with 9 deuce suited.
Feel the force, Knüppel.
Nah, he's not feeling it. Definitely not feeling it.
It's one of those spots where you're probably supposed to defend any suited hand, right? It's probably one of those, but also that's always assuming that you're going to play perfectly from out of position, and it's a very difficult hand to play well in many cases, especially when the chips are becoming so valuable in this sort of later stage of the tournament.
Oh, this is a good spot for Ciblicinho. Ciblicinho going for the jam. Needs a 10. Or a jack and a king. No, that's it. Doubles up Oku. Again, a full round of garbage. Except for Knüppel and Gambler. So those two might clash again. Or maybe no. Oh, there you go. You know, Knüppel doesn't play these hands. He doesn't play these hands. And you know what? Maybe he's even right to not play these hands in this situation.
Potentially.
Gambler in the small blind.
I've been seeing a lot of really cool stuff from our very own Ben CB as well, talking about looking at ranges where they've been ICM adjusted. Have you seen some of that stuff he's been posting? Like, really, really, really interesting how even halfway through a tournament with 50% of the field eliminated, how much the actual ICM ranges have been adjusted at that stage. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah. How much tighter you're actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
I've talked to Ben about this because Ben and I had our own little course that we made, and in that course we were actually talking about that concept because I told him that sometimes I feel like I'm opening too loose because I'm sticking to my ranges.
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, yeah, because you're supposed to open a lot tighter even at the earlier stages of the tournament.
Right.
And because I had this feeling like I like those. I like opening those hands, no doubt about that, because I'm used to it from
Yeah.
cash games. And
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense to be opening ace 10 offsuit and ace deuce suited and stuff
Yeah.
like that, or even 7-6 suited on the button. But in a tournament context, it probably doesn't, especially since, as I just said, I think to realize that the chip value is never just the chip value. It's like a situational chip value,
Yeah. Right.
and it's very, very specific. And everything can be different in a lot of different tournament stages. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely
No.
super, super complex, interesting.
I can definitely identify with that very strongly. Like, you know, when you first start out playing, you know, whatever ranges you have, you know, people give you super simplified ranges, and they're like, oh yeah, between 15 and 20 big blinds is what you're going to do. And then
Yeah.
and then the more you play, the more experience you have, you start thinking to yourself, why does it feel like this is just a little bit too generalized? Like, why, I feel like I'm following, I'm doing as I'm told, I'm following the range, but there's something about this that doesn't feel right. And then sure enough,
Yes.
you actually get your hands on something a little bit more advanced and a little bit more
Yeah.
complex. And then they're going, yeah, okay, exactly. I knew that this was wrong. I knew it felt wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really, really cool way to sort of like gauge your progress going through poker, right? Because you start to
That's true.
you start to have a feeling about certain combinations in certain positions, as opposed to just trying to, follow the textbook, so to speak.
Yeah. I think the moment when you realize that something that you have learned is probably not right in a certain situation that you want to apply it, is when you can already see that something is going to happen that you don't like somebody three betting you,
Right, right,
somebody
right.
defending, somebody calling your raise. And if you can already foresee that, then you know that working it backwards, probably the problem is that you're working with not a correct range, or
Right,
like
right.
something needs to be adjusted with that range.
Yeah,
Super interesting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Really, really cool stuff.
I mean, poker is still so complex. I mean, I've been playing this game for I don't know how many years, over 15 years or so, and then still learning new stuff every single day. It's
Yeah,
insane.
it is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Ace Jack. What are you gonna do, KZ?
Oh yes, Ace Jack.
I mean,
So yeah,
I'm jamming Ace Jack here. That's what I'm doing with it.
here we go.
There we go. There we
Jam
go.
this.
There, that's how you do it. Again, okay, get it pre-flop. The pre-flop Ace Jacks. That's how we're doing these.
Either you're open raising, everybody folds, or you're open jamming. So there's no other way to play Ace Jack. There's exactly two ways to play Ace Jack.
Folder jam. There you go. From now on, guys, this is the new meta. The Ace Jack meta is real.
I love the chat. Ebimon, I wish I can adjust my range when I'm all in. Yes, I wish. I wish to.
Ciperzino. Ciperzino.
He's kind of like in the playing field. He loves to play some hands here, definitely. You can feel it.
Yeah,
Opening
sure.
9-7 suited under the gun, defending 8-6 off.
What's up, Pumplex? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I mean, happy to play this hand here. 6-4 off. I actually like this combo as an open, though. Especially into a shorter stack. I think you're gonna do really well with these kinds of super disguised combos. Probably a little bit wider than what is standard. But even then, oh man, the trippy sevens. Knuppel just has the flush draw on the turn here. Just does not want to put any more chips in the middle. Then he rivers the really disguised chips anyway. The trips anyway.
I think Chibi was probably bluffing it. Yes, I was gonna say
it feels like he wanted to do something eventually. Yeah. Do not just flat. Do not just flat this hand. Knuppel, do not just flat this hand. You cannot just flat this hand.
I think he might. I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
How did I know, Flix? How did I know he was going to do that? I really feel like I've gotten to know Knuppel a lot better during this session already, you know? Knuppel, come on, buddy. Come on, mate. There's like no action on any street, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I don't know. What is Queen's full? I'm just worried about Queen's full.
The thing is, if you ask him why he did that, he's going to say, well, I knew he was bluffing.
I wasn't going to get any more value, so I just didn't bother. I just didn't want to.
Yeah. I knew he was bluffing.
That's funny.
Oh, Jack 3 suited. Actually flopping a flush right away. Check raising Cibilzeno.
Yeah, he does have the 9 of clubs there. Might convince him to stick around and try and make the flush himself, but obviously a bit of a tricky one.
Yeah. And he does make the call. We'll see a turn.
I'm making it like 6 million on the turn here if I'm gambler.
Let's see if you're right. Chat taking the over or the under.
Well, closer to 4.
Yeah. No more action. Well,
No more.
that was more than enough, getting another check raise in against the 9 of clubs. So I think that was good for gambler.
Mm-hmm. Wow, no action. Easiest game ever, Casey.
King queen suited.
King queen suited, very pretty.
Yeah, wanted to see a flop, but nobody would let him.
Yeah, big blind special. Man, a lot of trash now here as well. 8-7 off, 7 deuce off, 4 tray off. Ugh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Casey limps here, if I was John Silva, I'd probably go ahead and pump it up here as well. Just you can be so aggressive in this position once players limp. Like very few players are really playing that position. Like they're not balancing their limps as well as they should be. Basically, so, you know, you're just gonna do so well.
And even when they do, even when they have decent hands, like 10-4 offsuit still has decent equity against all the good hands that they might limp with.
Yeah.
And you still have that bounty equity in place. So it's just such a profitable spot.
Yeah. Okay, ace queen here.
You know, the funny thing is when I'm watching the table, I'm always looking into John Silva's situation because that's the spot I'm looking at when I'm streaming myself. So when I'm playing, I got ace queen. Nice.
You're always gonna put yourself in their shoes because that's where you're used to sitting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if ace queen's gonna get too much action here. I mean, you know, like I said earlier, versus the straight min raise, big blind can defend, you know, pretty wide, but it's a big chunk of their stack. Oh dear.
That's an interesting flop.
Oh dear,
Gut
Cut shot the backdoor diamonds might convince him to come along. Look at the size on the flop, Flix. They're so small.
Yay! And he picks it up. Maybe we'll see a jam. And we see a jam. And a snap call, obviously. So he needs a diamond or a 4.
All right.
He will be bamboozled. He's bamboozled.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the defend there pre-flop with the 3 deuce of diamonds? It's like...
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were just talking about, right? With ICM coming into play, probably you don't want to be defending as wide anymore. Yeah. And 3 deuce suited probably doesn't make the cut. On the other hand, 3 deuce suited makes some very disguised hands, but you're not going to get past flop or turn most of the time because of your short stack.
Yeah, you're way too short there.
Trouble.
So we did see Oku eliminated just then, and that was 27th place. That's $827.98 for the prize and $991 for the elimination. Congratulations. We're down to 25 players now, ladies and gents.
But then again, I think given the way he played it, I don't mind the jam on the turn. I think it's a good play because, you know, you get to fold out all the hands that just c-bet the flop on an ace high board.
Sure.
That didn't hit, so I think that was fine.
Yeah.
That's something you can see a lot in the past couple of months or even years. The bet sizing getting even smaller, like the min bet, just the min bet on the flop, you know, in a tournament stage like this, because it's so effective. Just as we talked about on like an ace export, just betting so insanely small that nobody really knows what to do against this, or what the best play is.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I mean, I've been doing a lot of work about, like, you know, when you turn flushes, like leading really small, you know, in situations on boards where, you know, opponents just won't fire again, you know, as a bluff very frequently, and kind of picking those textures where you know that they're, if you go small enough, you'll still get them to come along with some draws and stuff like that, but also, you know, spots where you know that they're unlikely to fire a second bullet as a bluff, so you need to try and build the pot against made hands already that might slow down just to try and protect. Very cool spots. And the 10 of spades gets the 100% red mark here.
And a gut shot straight flush draw. Just wanted to put it out there.
Street flash. It's got some street flash potential.
Oh, yes. Street flash.
Street flash, John Delano. Very good.
I was wondering, I think even Joe and James said it the other day or the other time, like a street flash, and I was like wondering why do you guys say that? Because in German we say that, like, a lot of people that don't know how to play poker usually say street flash or like
really?
street flash. It's street for a straight or flash for a flush. So it's very German. It's a very German
That's
thing to
funny.
say.
Doesn't John, you probably know what this. I mean, Tom will know what the situation is as well. But if you guys can remind me what the street flash thing came from, and we should actually get some animations here going as well. I need to
Oh
get
yeah,
access to the animations again.
street flash. No, that's a different song. But it sounds like this.
Okay.
Chat. Ace Jack, by the way. We got Drokos with the Ace Jack.
Yeah, and just look at this. There's no chance he's winning this pot. He should know better by now. Has he been watching the stream?
Mm-hmm.
A player was typing street flash during a straight flush hand. Okay, cool. It was that straightforward
Well,
then. Yeah.
then it definitely was a German player for sure, 100%, 100%.
All right. Ace Jack gonna fire here. I don't think we're gonna be losing 2 overcards in the flush draw. Queen Jack of Hearts here. Really pretty turn for this combo. Ace 6 probably doesn't want any more of this though.
Oh, this is how you play Ace Jack, Nick. This is how you play.
the non-hard offsuit Jack. Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
You hit that one out that gives you more action, that gets you paid.
Like absolutely genius level play now. Yeah.
I don't think Virginia will get out of this hand. He's probably calling.
Yeah. No, I think this size is really nice though too. I think you're gonna get calls from 7s and maybe some pocket 8s and pocket 9s and stuff like that too. So, yeah, I think that's kind of juicy.
Nice hand by Drokos. That's how you play Ace Jack.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Watch and learn, chat.
Watch and learn. This is how you do it. Okay, Gambler with the Ace 10 off here. Might be tempted to open up from position. I would be surprised if they're going to be that tight. King 4 of clubs isn't the worst hand to 3-bet here with, but it's also a very awkward stack depth to be putting in 3-bet non-all-ins here, I think. And yeah, I don't know. We keep banging on about it, you guys, but you know, when there's an incentive for opponents to be more sticky to try and win, I don't know if I like the flat here though, Felix. This seems a bit weird.
Casey definitely is on the loser side with the calls pre-flop. We've seen quite a bit of flatting from him.
Yeah.
So
I think this gets you in a lot of trouble a lot of the time.
yeah.
I mean, the button open's going to be really wide. It's just a hand with very poor playability. It's very difficult to realize the equity of your hand from out of position here. And this board is just one of those perfect examples of what I'm talking about, right? It's just so hard to continue to realize, you know, if you're calling with King 4 of clubs, what? The stop and go jam. The stop and go overbet jam. Okay, Casey, I take it back. You had a plan. You had a plan, and you just leaned into it, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
That's what I'm saying. These days, I'm never like judging. I'm always like trying to learn. Okay, here's the way to play King 4 suited if you flat. So if you have a plan, all is good. Who am I to judge? He's there in the top final 3 tables of the Sunday Million.
Amen.
So
Amen. 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 I'm just discussing, Casey. Okay, there was no judgment. I'm just discussing, and you proved me wrong. So there you go.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, John definitely mad because he would have flopped trips. But you know what they say: if you would have won the hand, you should have called. Of course, that's how it works.
And so you guys can't see what I see, but I've just been looking at the tournament lobby here, and the swings that we've been seeing. You know, like a lot of people still obviously hunting those bounties super hard. You know, a lot of the players that were at the top now at the bottom, or you know, they've made their way up. We had a player here, Strategen, who's currently in 22nd place. That was chip leader there for a second after 3 bullets. And yeah, as Xflixx was talking about earlier, just the craziness of the PKO situation, you know.
Yeah. And Casey chipping up again.
Yeah. Average by aggregation. Great name, by the way. Are you playing till the winner or a field of N players? No, yeah, we're playing down to the winner today. We're going to crown a Sunday Million champion at some stage this evening. Little blind v blind action here. I wouldn't mind a shove. I think that's really nice, especially when you got 61 million, right? How easy is that when you got 61 million?
Is he the chip leader? Do we have the chip leader at the table
he is the chip leader. Yeah, absolutely. So Eric Bolus there, guys, recently joined our table with 63 million chips. Currently has $3,000 in bounties and is well up there. He's got about 13. He's got about 10 million more than second place at the moment.
I just can't resist but make this one. Eric has huge balls. I couldn't help myself.
Does anybody actually recognize the cartoon here?
No, I was wondering
by Eric's name. I think I remember. Can anybody else in the chat pick that one out?
Eddie?
Yeah, that was my guess. There was a Nickelodeon show. Was it Nickelodeon, guys, or was it Cartoon Network called Ed, and Eddie?
Oh, quiet, everybody! We got Ace Jack offsuit again. Now we gotta learn.
Yarrick, you should have known better than this, buddy. He's definitely gonna gamble. He's gonna punt for the bounty here for sure. It was Cartoon Network, yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. And we get a call.
Make the call.
Oh, it's a good flop.
Jack. Or a 5 or a 10. No.
Okay.
Okay, this is not the way to play Ace Jack. Sorry. I was mistaken.
Yeah, John Delano. I remember watching that cartoon back in the day. Cartoon Network did some really, really cool stuff for a long time, and then they used to have in the evenings they would have Adult Swim, and they'd have like all like the sort of like adult like animes and like like really, really weird sort of like there was one called Harvey Birdman and stuff like that. Does anybody remember that? Adult Swim.
No.
Samurai Jack, they used to show that too. That was dope. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have like every episode of Samurai Jack on my Prime somewhere.
I know Scooby Doo. That's the one I know.
Robot Chicken. Yeah, thank you. Stuff like that. Yeah. Space Ghost was really good. I think that was like the first time I ever saw anime. Like I think I was watching like Ghost in the Shell and stuff like that on late night on Cartoon Network. Harvey Birdman was a lawyer. That's right. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
I think a lot of stuff that you guys know, probably I know too, but under a different name.
Yeah,
I don't
possibly.
know, they might have changed the name in German television.
Yeah. Aqua Teen Hunger Force as well. That was a banger. And I was way too young to be watching that shit, so I thought it was pretty cool at the time.
Ren and Stimpy, I know. I remember
that. Did we see Ace King check this flop? Oh, yeah, cool.
Yes,
so
they checked.
Just slowing it all the way down here. Very interesting. I think probably the turn is the time to start betting, though. Wouldn't mind something slightly over half pot here. Yeah, something like that's good. If you're gonna miss the flop c-bet, I think you got to go big on the turn. King Frog.
We got some interesting hands coming up again.
Yeah, King Frog is asking about pay jumps, guys. So we currently are down to 24. The next pay jump is 23. So whoever can survive one more will ladder to $1,161.54. So we're getting into it now.
Now let's see if Knüppel opens 6 deuce offsuit.
I mean, he's just feeling it out.
I think he's just getting food or something.
What about your time bank? Protect your time bank. Silva has the Grafton, you're right. The Sam Grafton, 9-10 suited.
I'm not sure if he's going to get to see a flop, though. Yeah, he's probably not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't want to get exploited here, so we might see a call, but, oh, man. These are some really, really tricky spots, though, right, Flix? I mean, getting 3-bet in that position. King, Queen, you can definitely see where he's at with the call pre, but I mean SPR is so awkward now once you've called that 3-bet size. You know, it's just over 1. It can be very, very difficult to get away from certain setups.
I love the size by Yarrick. I think it's
Yeah,
really good.
very, very, very good. Very good.
Gets the job done.
You're going to find out really quick if he's going to have that kind of stuff. If he's going to have Broadway stuff that he's going to let go, or he's going to actually have some sets or some top pairs and stuff. And you don't have to commit any more than that. Like, I honestly think you're going to get away with so much in that spot. It's like there are certain situations where if you bet small, you're inviting very wide floats. But when SPR is that low and they realize how much of a chunk of their stack that is and how often you're just going to shove turn, you're queuing yourself up for a shove turn very easily by using the smaller size. And you're applying more pressure in this situation than if you were to bet really small and then stacks were much deeper where people can afford to float with just 2 overcards or something like that to try and turn their hand into a bluff or whatever.
True. Also in a spot like this, he doesn't have to fear about the small to medium, like the medium to higher pocket pairs, because those are mostly jamming pre-flop and not calling. So he's very likely to just get it done with a small c-bet, I think, in a spot like this.
Yeah, very cool.
Really good. So the deuce is gonna win.
The deuces that never loses.
Well, I could have gone for a value bet there. You think? Maybe.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I think once you've seen so little action, I feel like you're probably going to be running into some high cards that might still call on the paired board. So I don't think it's. I mean, if anybody ever, if anybody proposes a situation where there's thin value, I'm usually all there for it 100%. You know what I mean? Because it's those are the little moments that actually are maybe potentially even more important than some of the bigger pots that you play that are just more straight sort of setup hands. You know, like there's spots where you're just going to run kings into aces and vice versa and all that, and they might cost you a lot of chips on the day, but really your edge is going to come from a lot of those thinner value bets that other people aren't seeing. And the sort of aggregation of chips like that are actually probably going to what are more meaningful to your overall bottom line.
Yes, it's the sort of bets that you get that some other players won't get, that make or break your win rate or separate you from the others.
Yep, absolutely. You got to find value where other people don't see it.
Yes. Like, you got to probably approach, like, that's also good life advice. I just came to realize. You got to try to find the value where other people don't see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, I'm not sure how much people are sweating a $200 pay jump. Obviously, it's all part of it, right? Everyone should take it seriously, right? Because it's all part of your year and how you're going to do playing poker this year. But yeah, I mean, I think we're definitely starting to get into the sort of segment where we're going to see players playing a little bit more closer to chip EV, and they're going to be gambling a little bit less just for straight bounties. You know, if they feel like it's going to cost them their tournament life, there's a lot more to come, and there's a lot more money stacked up at top here that they can win by progressing in the tournament, as opposed to just trying to win a few, $700 here and there or whatever's available.
Yep, absolutely agree. So blind battle.
Yeah, I think I prefer Queen 5 as a steal here, actually, because it's not really a great hand to limp call with. I think limp folding it is also probably reasonable too. I think for a long time there was sort of this mentality of like, you never want to limp with the intention of folding, but by limping with a wider range in these situations, it does give you more scope to limp with traps and stuff like that a little bit more often too, because you're going to balance out a lot of the cool stuff that you might want to trap in this particular setup. By calling and limping and folding with those hands.
Yeah.
I feel like Queen 5 probably is going to be just a limp fold there a lot of the time. Maybe once you get to Queen 9 off, you're going to want to steal that a little bit more frequently.
Oh, Yarrick actually folding the King Queen offsuit in early position, and Drokos folding Ace 3, and everybody folding, like, playable hands.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that was a raise. I didn't see that. Okay, my bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't spot that either.
I thought he was in the big blind, actually.
I was going to say Ace 3 of hearts here. Seems like a good one, but I didn't see the gambler open. Eric, I would steal here, buddy. I would go crazy. You got look at all your chips, mate. Look at all the chips. Jack 3 all hearts. It's like the prettiest hand ever when you got 60 million. Sure.
Yeah, why not? True. Put the pressure on.
You know, generally it's been feeling a little bit like people have tightened up here, so I think you probably can afford to go kind of crazy. And
yeah,
I mean, you're definitely gonna confuse some people with that combo as well, right? You know, people aren't going to be putting you on 2-pair with Jack 3 that often as well, and that might work in your favor to win a bounty too.
for sure. So this could get interesting. I was actually thinking Knüppel is going to open, but Gibrizinho is opening. Probably making Gambler.
I was going to say
something.
I was going to say the 3-bet or something would be cool here. I mean, that's a lot of chips though.
This is the perfect example of a suited ace making better aces fold,
yeah,
while still maintaining some good equity when called.
Right, exactly.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Ace 4 suited, ace 5 suited. They're just some of those weird ones that you're just going to see going in there a lot as a jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is something like I love to see this, especially Nick. I don't know about you, but when I see cards up final tables, I love to see situations like this because this is what you usually don't see. You don't see what you actually fold out.
Right.
Like when you jam ace 4 suited, all of a sudden ace 6, ace 9 they fold.
Yeah.
And now you remember, oh, that's the reason I'm actually jamming these hands in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as a learning aid as well, that's really beneficial because when you start to play poker, you're very literal. You know, you're very literal in the way that you think about hand strengths and stuff like that, and then you're not taking into account how beneficial it can be to make stronger hands that actually have dominated to fold. Obviously, ace 6, ace 4 is a little bit closer to a chop more often, but you know, if you're getting ace 9 to fold there, if you're getting ace 10 to fold there, and stuff like that, like. It's really, really difficult to visualize how much value you're winning when you're making more aggressive lines like that, and to see it happen in real time, I think is one of the great benefits of having cards up for sure.
That's the tricky thing about poker. You never get to know what your opponent actually folded unless they show or unless you get to do something like this. So you never know what the effect of your actual play really is. You just know the things in theory. You just theorize about the things, but this is actually giving you some practical views of the situation that you only know in theory.
Yep. Lash Vegas in the chat says, can we revisit Babylon 5, most underrated 90s series? Babylon 5 was an unbelievably good show. It was so good, and it just didn't get nearly enough love. If you guys have never done the Babylon 5 thing, you missed out. You can, I think at one point I had every episode on VHS or something like that. That's how that's how long ago it was. Yeah, and just in a huge carrier bag just full of VHS and all the movies and stuff like that too.
I know the name, but I've never seen it. What sort of reminds it? Is it sort of?
It was kind of like Star. It was a Star Trek. It was a Star Trek kind of thing. Yeah, it was more Star Trek than Star Wars. But we have an all-in guys pocket nines here. Eric Bolas probably wants to get away from ace 10 here at this point. It's quite a lot of action at this stage, and of course getting a call with queens.
And the stars nuts.
Casey is eliminated. R.I.P. guys. Casey eliminated in 23rd place, 1,161. So just made the pay jump there, and managed to take home $1,442 in bounties. And we are going to another break, guys. All right, so break number 2. As I said just now, 22 players remain in this Sunday Million KO special, which means we are only 21 places away from crowning our new champion, who will walk away with over $52,000 plus all the bounties they can take on the way. Currently, Eric Bolas, who was just on our table just now, is leading the pack with 61 million chips. 5-minute break, and we'll get back to the action. Yeah, so basically, Babylon 5 was like a it was kind of in the same vein as Star Trek or whatever, but rather than it being a space starship or whatever, it was sort of a space station that was in between two warring factions. It was very cool. I think back on it with very fond memories. But I feel like it was pretty good in the visual effects department, but it might be one of those things where you go back and watch it and you're like, wow, this is so hokey. I can't even handle it. I'm not sure.
I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
yeah.
There's a lot of TV series that when you watch them now, you'll think like, how was I ever able to actually,
Take it seriously.
enjoy this or take it seriously because
Yeah,
it looks insane. The only thing that I must say, and I'm not, of course I'm a fanboy, but I mean, if I watch the Star Wars movies, it's different. It's like everything they set up is so neat and so nice, like with all the little like they did the first like 4 to 6 they did with like little miniatures of things, not with any I mean, obviously, no computer animated things were available, but like doing this with it just still looks so real. That's
yeah,
that's insane.
yeah.
So I love to see that for sure.
Yeah, so like I think at some point I could really confuse myself because I went back to go watch some Star Wars, and I remember thinking, oh, it's been a while. It's been sort of like it's like retro and whatever. And I went back and I was like, wow, these effects are so good for what they were. And then I realized that I
Yeah.
was watching one of the remastered versions, and they'd obviously like
Yeah.
digitally enhanced, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I had to go back and find the other version of the originals, and I was like, okay, I'm still enjoying this for the reasons that I enjoyed it before. It's very, very, very member berries, if you guys get the
Yeah.
reference. But yeah, absolutely, it's definitely fun to go back. What would you say is your favorite Star Wars?
It's always tough. It's I think pretty close between Empire Strikes Back and Rogue One. Actually, became one of my favorites.
Rogue One was my favorite of the new ones for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought
Yeah.
Solo was okay as well to a certain degree, but yeah, I don't know. I was having a conversation with one of our producers, Chris Cohen, who's a big
Big
Star
Star Wars
Wars
fan.
fan.
Hmm.
Wonderful human being as well. I'm not sure if you're watching, Chris, but I love you. And yeah, he was sort of saying, there's some stuff that he's seen recently. Like we were talking about Boba Fett, and he was sort of saying, yeah, it wasn't great, and there was things that I didn't like about it, but I just like to revisit the universe. I just like to, even if the plot isn't the greatest thing in the world, I just like to sort of like revisit this. I just like to sort of immerse myself in the universe, and even if it's just secondary, I still like to kind of like jump in and take part.
Yes, exactly. And I think, I mean, for my part, I was super amazed and super pleased with Book of Boba Fett, but that probably comes from the fact that I'm pleased with a lot of the series on a different basis than other people that like Star Wars, because I'm always thinking of poker. Because I think like if you've watched a lot of people that watch Star Wars or that like Star Wars probably haven't seen either Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, which are the
Right,
animated
right, right.
series. And if you've watched those series, you get a lot more of a sense of what it means, what these producers have actually set up
Right,
in real
right.
life. Like you don't get to like in Boba Fett, for instance. I don't know the character of Cad Bane, like the bounty hunter. He's just an insane character.
Right.
He's gotten so much love from the Star Wars fans,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people don't know or don't really realize what it means to have a bad guy like that come into real life. It's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it pleased me so much to see him.
Yeah, no,
So that was a pleasure.
I can't remember who suggested it, but I was suggested to watch a lot of the animated series, and I'm a big animated series guy anyway. But I think I just didn't enjoy the animation style. There was something about that I feel like I couldn't get past, so I wasn't really feeling like I was getting there with them. But that's what everyone says is you got to watch those to really understand the connection between the lore and. I think seeing Cad Bane was probably one of the coolest parts of that whole season anyway. So
Absolutely.
that was fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also think like especially with pretty similar to Game of Thrones, I think nobody is ever dead in Star Wars in the Star Wars universe. So just like putting it out there for like whatever it's worth,
I
but
mean,
I'm pretty sure.
speaking of Game of Thrones, isn't there supposed to be a new one coming out soon?
Yeah, I think there's a new series planned, right?
Yeah, I thought so. Like
Um,
House of Fire or something, House of Blood and
House of the Dragon or House of Dragon.
something like that. Come on, Chad, help me out.
Yeah.
All right, we're back in the action now, guys. If you have just joined us, we are watching the 109 Sunday Million, 1 million guaranteed progressive KO with the new structure, guys. The new structure that they've put into place very recently. We're down to 22 players. Everyone is currently guaranteed at least $1,161, and then all the bounties they can take too. Obviously, first place and second place are going to be the same, but first place will have the benefit of taking home those extra bounty chips when they win that heads up. So let me know if you guys got any questions in the chat, as always. And yeah, thank you for sticking with us. House of
That's
the
an
Dragon.
interesting thought.
Thank you.
Top pair for students, 2 overcards for Jukovic and Zemi has second pair and a backdoor flush draw, so I think everybody will stick around.
Yep, it is looking pretty.
Zemi in a tough spot. I mean, he has to commit a lot of his stack to see another card, but I think he'll be okay to do it. Ooh. That's a tough one now.
Wow.
He's sort of, in German you say verschlimmbessert. Is there an English word like similar to congratulances? Oh, he jams, yeah.
Verschlimmbessert?
To get better, but it actually got worse. Like it got worse, it got better, but it also got worse at the same time.
I love that. No, I've never heard that one before.
And he's out. Can't blame him for the play. I mean, he just improved to a pair and a flush draw. And this is the unexploitable move. He does get a7 to fold with a gem, so that's good.
All right, so changing tables, guys. Back over to table B here. Going to try and follow Knuppel.
Knuppel got a little short now.
See how he's getting on.
10 big blinds, and he has a hand. Wow, just on time. We just got some action on Knuppel.
Just in time. Yeah, we'd love to see our guy go far here, so we'll stick around this table and see what we can see.
I think Knuppel is going to jam this one. But it's Knuppel. You never know. Huge bounty on Knuppel's head now. So he might get a call. No, he's not.
Yeah, 4-5 of hearts is very tempting there, right? It's one of those hands you love to gamble with. You know, 8-7 of hearts, that kind of thing. Really pretty hands to just go for bounties.
You're going to be live with your cards mostly, but yeah.
Yeah. It's like you said, though, you know, getting kind of leveled where you go, well, it's like, you know, I'm probably not going to be dominated that often, but then also is he really going to be shoving as light as I'd like him to shove in this situation because he knows that I've got him covered, and the level.
Yes, absolutely. And now we see Gambler defending with the Queen Jack suited, flopping a gut shot. King high and the backdoor flush draw for Drokos. Drokos actually sounds like a character from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I was just thinking the same thing.
And Gambler makes a straight. But I think it's going to get tough to get paid.
Wow.
If I could have wished for a run out, yes, that would have been it.
Yeah, that's pretty savage, isn't it?
Big river.
Oh, man. This is definitely one of those spots as well where you know that you can just go huge because you're either going to get paid or you're not. You know, like he's going to have like 2 pair plus or he's just going to have air, so you might as well go big. Gambler actually leads into him here. Do you ever just absolutely rip it in here, Flix?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, just the overbet jam and just pray he calls for the chop.
If there ever is a spot, I think this is it. Probably, right?
This is what they look like, right? Okay, decides to go for half the stack instead. I mean, I feel like I actually still prefer this because it's still outrageous. You're still raising an outrageous amount of chips, but you will actually get looked up, and he does get the call. So 46 million now for Drokos here, and we are down to 19 players. Not after that hand specifically, but that's where we're at right now, guys. And yeah, Drokos just finds the right size there on the river. I think maybe like the overbet all in. I think maybe the all in is a bit too ambitious. I think actually what he did is probably slightly better. But I'm a fan.
Especially in a stage like this in a tournament, you probably don't want to go all in because people will make some tighter laydowns than they usually would.
Absolutely. All right, Queen 10 taking it down.
this is probably going to get through without any action, is my assumption.
Yeah, I was going to say ace-8 off is probably the only one that might come along, but still, it's not a great spot for queen for ace-8 off really in the small blind there.
Yeah.
However, pocket nines here for Knuppel.
Knuppel
I mean,
has pocket nines.
I feel like I'm just going to be ripping this a lot of the time, just putting it straight all in here.
But let's see what Knuppel's plan is here.
But we never really know what Knuppel's plan is.
So Knuppel makes a raise.
I mean, he's actually got a couple decent candidates that might come along with him that he has dominated here. So just always finding the right move every single time, Felix. There you go, ace-3, getting the action. Yeah, love to see it.
He's got a gut shot. Let's see what he does on the flop. C-bet gets it done.
Easy game, yeah. Up to 13 million.
Oh, we got aces for Gambler. And most likely action from Eric in the big blind. Unless Drokos gets creative.
Yeah, I mean, queen 10 seems pretty reasonable. Especially when you're facing the absolute min. Too much.
I mean, you love to flop a set with aces, but you also know that there's just not much to get action from, right?
Yeah.
So tough.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in some ways, I actually would prefer to just size up with aces here and just really try and punish the flush draw. And, you know, flush draw and a gut shot, like just really specific stuff that, you know, they're not going to have a ton of, but you're basically going to get very little action even from second and third pair there anyway, right?
Yeah.
So you might as well just go big on the flop and just hope that he's got a draw that looks really nice to him, and he can, you know, you can milk that specifically, because there's not a ton else that you're going to be getting, you know, action from. I mean, if you go small enough, obviously they might still come along with one pair, but I don't know. What do you think? Maybe, I guess what I'm saying is I think you probably get max value from the draws by going a bit bigger rather than just trying to get a crying call from one pair on the flop and then hoping that
even one pair on the flop might just call one bullet. So I think sizing up might be a good idea, or checking probably even for that matter.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, there's definitely some combos that you would check there for sure that you can sort of believably sell. Knuppel big blind 8-7 off.
Nope, no defend.
Not interested. Eric Bolis with ace-queen off. Seems like a pretty much mandatory open at this stage. Not sure if they're going to get much action, though.
Like, I don't see Knuppel playing this hand.
Ace-7 off. I mean, it is. It is the Spraggy. It is the Spraggy.
It is the Spraggy. Oh yes, of course.
And I don't know. I feel like Knuppel might be swayed by that once in a while. Oh my days! Oh. Queen 4 off, going for it here. I know what I'm going to do in this spot.
Gambler picking the wrong timing.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a hand with a 4 in his hand. That's why he's called the Gambler 4-4-4-4.
Yeah, he's got less than 20 bigs to be in the hand with, though. So. Wasn't
it Phil Hellmuth with the Queen 4 that called all in?
Yeah.
So it's the Hellmuth. So he probably pulls a Hellmuth here.
Yeah.
No, he's not calling.
He's been watching too much poker news.
Knuppel on the button with the ace-3. Let's see. I would be surprised if he plays an ace on the button. Knuppel doesn't play a hand like that on the button. No.
I mean, so far it just feels a lot like Knuppel's more of a tight as right kind of guy, you know, which is
it works.
That's fine for me.
I mean, we've talked about this, you know, Master Ben CB told us ourselves you need to be tighter when ICM kicks in, and Knuppel just follows. So
Master Ben.
Maybe he's doing it all right.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually don't hate that fold, honestly. I think you might catch me doing something similar, especially in the context of a PKO.
Yeah.
You know, ace deuce off, ace 3 off are just not high value propositions, really, even from that position. So I can appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, and also with your stack size, you're gonna get pressured a lot by
Mm.
small and big blind in a
Yeah.
situation like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why even bother opening?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna quickly leave you for the toilet. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay, buddy. Okay, we see a c-bet there from the 4-3 suited, taking it down on the ace-high board. Sorry, guys. Confusing you there. 1 second. That's more like it. Sorry about that. Pocket sixes do decide to come along here. Queen 10 suited, pretty standard open, I would say. But sixes are going to be good enough to try and play for a set mine here. Oh, and speaking of sets, that is what that looks like. Is Stapes in Vegas right now? I believe Stapes is in Vegas right now. He might just be in LA as well. Hopefully we'll be seeing Stapes relatively soon, though. He was gonna be heading in this direction to do some stand up. Oh man, a jack would be pretty savage here, right?
A set of sixes for John. Haven't seen a set in a while.
Yeah, he's putting on the pressure. Gambler after that 3-bet with the queen 4 off here, gonna really lay into him here. Just makes the call, and that is a full boat. And a quick check from queen 10. I mean, at this point, you're just shoving, right? You're hoping for the best.
Yeah. But maybe you're even going small to try and get value from a king, but I'm not sure. Then again, like gambler bet twice if I.
Yep. So he opened and then he led twice. But yeah, it's interesting because I guess the ace is never going to miss the opportunity to bet 3 streets there, I guess. So
yeah,
he is going to just have some king X and maybe queens and this. I don't know. Queens doesn't really make a lot of sense, I would say, for 2 streets. But yeah, definitely a tricky one once you get to that stage and they don't continue. It's you're like kind of like I'm not really sure what I'm up against anymore at this stage.
Yeah.
Plenty of gut shots that have missed.
Also, I like the second barrel from gambler. I mean, he probably gets a lot of folds from like king X and then other hands that just peeled the flop once, right?
Yeah.
And gambler still not afraid to make some loose opens with that stack.
Yeah. I mean, sitting around 10 big blinds effective right now. You know, I mean, A7 suited, pretty reasonable hand to open for sure. But he hasn't been deterred. He hasn't really been deterred. You know, so.
And now, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
what is happening now? This is.
Look at the size of this 3-bet as well. It's just so punishing. Like he doesn't have to go big here at all, and he's just going to get away with absolute murder. Like he could easily just get ace 7 of diamonds to fold here, and he probably will. You know, so having these really cool sort of blocker, suited king, suited king X, suited ace X 3-bets that are just super tiny, you're just going to get away with absolute murder. But look at the flop, Flix.
Insane.
That's definitely not the flop that A7 of diamonds wants to get away from, and he's putting it all in first act. This is really interesting because you can get hands like ace queen, ace king to fold by just leading here, so you will actually clean up a lot of your equity.
Mm. Eric might even consider a call because he has a gut shot, a backdoor flush
Yeah.
draw, one overcard,
Yeah.
so it's not that bad.
All right, guys, we've reached that time now. 500,000, 1 million. So much, much easier math now. And 12.573251 human calculator for gambler. 13.573251 big blinds.
And ace jack on the button. That's how you play ace jack. There you go.
He's done it again. He's done it again.
Yeah. Teaching us.
Yeah.
And another round of garbage at the table. Yes, the starting stack was 50k. It's now 50k for the Sunday Million with a new structure.
New structure, absolutely. 10-5 of spades. Doesn't wanna get his hands dirty. Wants to just keep it as a fold there.
Yeah, you can feel. I think I feel the tension is rising with final two tables, getting closer and like people getting a lot tighter now, except for Gambler and Eric.
Yeah, I mean,
I must say.
Eric has a good excuse though. He's got 60 million, so he's all good. But
Mm.
yeah, I definitely starting to feel more of a vibe. Yeah, I like this deal here as well. 3.5 is an interesting size to use too. What's your size there around 45 big blinds effective, Flix? Is it 4? Are you going a little bit bigger than that as a steal?
I think I'm definitely going big, but I think I like 3.5. I think it's just like the threshold. 4x. I think I've seen a lot of people recently going 4x, and I think Ben even said that
Yeah.
in one of his classes that going bigger small blind versus big blind out of position is so
Right.
valuable just to get that fold and to put so much pressure on the
Right.
big blind.
Right.
Take away that. I mean, it's really when you put yourself in that shoe, how tough it is to actually play from out of position on any given board.
Yeah.
If whether you hit a piece of the board or if you don't, it's just too tough.
Right.
Just great power you hand to the big blind all the time.
Yeah, I think
So taking away that power is great.
I think 3.5 or 4 when you're at 40 is cool. Once you get to like 25, it should be closer to 3, and then under 20, it should be like 2.5 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, or a limp if you
Sure.
if you like. But
Sure.
yeah, I think making it bigger and making it less incentivized for the big blind to play his position against you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Ooh, that's a nice turn.
I mean, not that it changed a lot, but at least if Eric now hits a queen, he still will be no good. And he starts to bet.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I do think that's an interesting bet. I mean, obviously on this turn when you're unblocking, the hearts and all that kind of stuff, I think that there's still things that might check to turn that you can still get value from for sure, but also I think a lot of times you're going to just turn your hand into a bluff here kind of thing unnecessarily too, so.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not quite clear. That's also something in poker that's really a powerful thing. You never quite know what the reason for your bet is. It's not like it used to be like, is it value or is it a bluff?
Yeah.
And then there's these things that are in betweens, You're just betting to protect yourself from situations on the river that might arise,
Right.
or to deny equity. There's a whole lot of different reasons now
Yeah.
come into play after all the complexity of the game has flourished, sort of. And I think there's more to betting than just value and bluff. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
It's tough. Like sometimes you don't know like why people start betting. Also, when I see them in live poker, especially people in live poker, they don't have their reasons. They sometimes just like when you ask them why did you make that, they'll probably just go, "I felt it was the right play." That's all they can say.
Ace Queen of Spades going to be all in here for 15 milli. 15.385718 big blinds.
Can't imagine a call from Yarik. I think this is just a little too much. But it's a huge bounty. I mean, 1.1k. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I like the fold as well.
Yeah, king 10 offsuit is just too often dominated. King jack, king queen, ace king, those types of hands.
So we're down to 18 guys. 18 players remain. Currently, everyone is guaranteed at least $1,161. We are on a page up now. 17th place will get about $500 more than 18th. So we are on a page up here, and then they start to get a little bit more serious as we get down to the final table, of course.
Smoke Robinson asking if we ever should slow down, or if we would ever slow down in the final tables of a tournament, or stick with the same game plan that got you there. It's an interesting question. Nick, what's your take?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you should always be adjusting at all times. I don't think there's. I think
Yeah.
I can't. I think there's very few times in poker when you ever just want to say, I have a game plan and I'm sticking to it. You should want to look at every single opportunity, and you want to give every opportunity the respect that it deserves to try and make every hand as as profitable, or lose as little as you possibly can in really bad spots, and win as much as you possibly can in good spots. And we've been talking about it all throughout today's stream as well. The ICM implications of getting down to the final few tables. It is pretty incredible how much tighter you should be playing compared to what a conventional sort of hand range might suggest. That might be more appropriate at the very start of a tournament, for example. So yes, absolutely, but it's not so much that I would think to slow down. There's plenty of situations late game where I'd like to speed up. Like if I was in Eric Bolus's position here as the chip leader, I'm going to be playing a much more aggressive, wider game. I'm going to be opening a much wider range to try and apply pressure to the shorter stacks, and so really it could go either direction. It's less to do with slowing down or speeding up, and it's more just to just making adjustments to try and maximize your opportunity to win.
Absolutely agree. So to sum things up for you, Smoke Robinson, the answer is it depends. Thank you for your question.
That's always poker. Yeah, I mean,
but you're right. I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
I always get a lot of that stuff in my Discord and just on social media in
Yeah.
general. Like, hey, I've been really struggling to play small blind versus big blind, and I'm like, yep, that's we all do. It really sucks. It's like yeah, and they're like, could you give me some rule of thumb? Can you give me a rule of thumb about how I could be better in small blind versus big blind? It's just like you just got to learn the spots. You just have to learn.
Yeah.
You have to learn the ranges, and you need to really try and feel out what the best lines are on different textures. And it's so complicated. If it was something where you could have a rule of thumb, then it probably just wouldn't be an interesting game to play.
Yeah. But sometimes, if somebody asks, I'm struggling with that and that spot, and some more experienced player says, well, we all do, that actually should give him some, sort of, how do you say, some sort of, relief to actually say, oh, even the better players, the
Right.
good players are struggling with spots like these. So it's not like I need to have them figure it out, because I think a lot of people struggle with the fact that they think they have to figure things out, but you can't. It's poker. I mean, it's just like in life, you have to figure things out as you progress, and that's part of the game. It's part of the progress. So
Yeah.
I think it's
I think a more constructive approach would be to find spots that you are struggling with, and then share them on the appropriate Discord, or whatever, some sort of a public forum. Like Felix and I have these communities that are largely completely free advice and free or at least a free platform where you can share your ideas and thoughts, and other people can try and give you their kind of insight and their take on things. And that's probably a better way to go about doing it, because there's probably a few spots that you really struggle with that feel like you're always getting punished in. But maybe you're stronger in other, on other flop textures or something like that. You feel those a bit better. So sharing like that is probably, sharing like that is probably a better way to improve, rather than just trying to generalize what are very, very difficult positions to play.
absolutely.
Blind v blind, 5-3 off versus pocket tens. Eric Bolus obviously has done really well to accumulate chips, but thus far, I'm not sure if we've seen them really taking the aggro lines. Having said that, they did find that really cute little 3-bet with King 8 suited versus Gambler, so fair play on that one too. But just feeling it out, just doing the right thing. Currently chip leading this Sunday Million, so yeah, he's obviously gotten doing a lot right as well.
So, and opening the 3-4 suited.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get the job done.
Yeah, love it.
No accidents on the blinds. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, we got some nice big stacks at the table. Ovidius. Opening for 2.5x, and again, I think this is just gonna get through uncontested. Unless Eric wants to step in? No.
Yeah. Speaking of Knuppel, though, our guy needs a double here. It's looking pretty shallow.
Yeah, Knuppel lost a lot of chips now.
Yeah.
I mean, being tight is right mostly, but then again, at the later stage of the tournaments, it can go quite fast that you lose most of the chips and then you get short. And in a PKO, being short is just a pain.
Mm.
No. And still folding.
Ace-4 off. That's going in the bin for me. Ace-5 off, same.
Yeah.
Kind of ugly,
Eric.
ugly hands here.
Go for it, Eric. Find that open race.
This is your moment. Yes.
Yes.
My man.
You can do it. Now, only Ovidius with the pocket threes might try to see a flop because they have the stacks to do so.
Yep. So definitely is set mining stacks there, no problem at all for sure. Easily have a good price to try and get something like spike. Is it 14% flick, something like that? You hit a set about 14% of the time, something like that.
Every 7.5 time. How much is that in percentage? Let me think. That's 8.5. 1 divided by 8.5. I'm bad at math.
I suck at
Chat
math.
is quicker. Chat. You can do it. I'll try. I'll run the numbers. 12%? Probably, but I might not be right. Maybe chat is better than me. Knuppel, that's your moment. Oh my god. Pocket fives against ace king. Yes. This could be it.
Yep, this is the moment.
Come on, Knuppel. All the fives are still in the deck.
Come on, buddy. How many fives you want?
All of them.
How often is he going to flop this Xflixx? Quick. How often?
Yes.
All right, we're going to the races.
Quads. He's just going to make quads.
It's a good flop. It's a really good turn. And Knuppel gets the full double, up to 11 million right there. Congratulations, buddy. All right, yeah, come on, let's go team. Team
so
GRND.
He flopped the set, so that means he flops the set 100% of the time. The math is wrong.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
And he folded ace-9 suited. I think, again, that would have been a hand I would have probably gone
Yeah,
with.
I think ace-9's getting a little bit too strong now. But you know, like you say.
It's the Knuppel way.
It's the Knuppel. Give him the Knuppel.
He didn't flop it though. Yeah, that's right. Then maybe only 80% of the time. Making a set.
Okay, gambler here, like 8 big blinds with ace-10 off. Not been afraid to gamble in these situations. I think the shove here is probably totally fine.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that seems pretty reasonable.
Now, Eric might consider a call. The bounty is over 1,000 bucks.
It's over 1,000 bucks, yeah, absolutely. We're down to 16 as well, guys, which means that we are also playing for $1,629 in regular cash prizes. Makes the call.
Oh, there's a queen. And a jack.
Oh.
And a king! What a sweat.
What a run out for ace-10 there. That was a huge spot. Up to 17 million now. Up to 17 big blinds for Gambler. That's very meaningful at this stage in the tournament, guys. 17 bigs is nothing to scoff at this stage with 16 remaining.
Never without a sweat. Those are the kind of sweats that you just love to see as the underdog on the flop.
That was a pretty savage one out, though. Damn. Eric Bolus obviously just like, yeah, cool, I'll take $1,000. Sure, that's okay. I'm all right with that. Yeah. I think I like the call, though. Oh, we got another all in here. Jacks for his 10s now, guys.
And Gambler.
And
on the roll.
Gambler just gambling super hard. Now up to 38 big blinds. Sorry, slightly less now. We're up to 600, 1,200, but 600,000 and 1.2 million. But there you go. Works out for him, guys. That was a huge swing for Gambler after a couple ugly pots didn't going his way.
Ovidius now running into queens. Depending on what Eric does, but I don't think that's going to get very far. But who knows? Who knows? I would think that King-Queen offsuit is almost always a pure fold against a 3-bet in spots like these.
Yeah, I mean, his initial open was on the larger side, and obviously that invites a larger 3-bet from Eric Bolus as well. So, yeah, I like it. I like the fold.
Knüppel has a hand again. Ace-King offsuit.
Might get some action from Jack 10 of diamonds here. Seems pretty reasonable. I'm not sure if Eric wants to come along versus the open here with Queen Jack, though, from this position. Probably a lot more likely to call if directly on the button as opposed to the cutoff. If at all, though.
Let's see what Knüppel does. Jams.
He's all in.
And now Raphael has to make a decision for the bounty. 1.1k. That's quite a juicy bounty. And it is a hand that retains some equity, even against a lot of hands that jam here. I mean, ace-queen, ace-king. Oh, he does make the fold. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the tough spots. Like, I'm not sure about these, especially with high bounties. I think these are really tough to calculate or to know what the right answer is.
Yeah, definitely tricky.
Drokos opening up with the chip leader right behind him.
Everyone's favorite Game of Thrones character. Drokos.
Yes, Drokos. What is the race from Khal Drogo called again? Thinking about this.
Khaleesi is the name of the queen. Khalasar is the name of the king. They're called
what's
the name of the people? I forgot.
Yeah, the people. It's probably one of them. So he's probably one of them, like a new leader or an old leader. And I think House of Dragons is probably right. It's before Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, so. right. I think it was about the Targaryens.
Dothraki. There we go.
Dothraki. Very good, guys. Very good.
So Drokos is a Dothraki.
Oh man, King Jack, absolutely loving life, but they have no idea how close they are to absolute ruin on this river. Don't you know who you're playing with? This is the gambler, bruh.
He's the gambler on a warm summer's evening, on a train bound to nowhere.
You gotta know when to hold 'em.
Know when to fold 'em. Come on, gambler, you can do it.
Oh man,
show us how the gamble works.
Just if he could just peel the nine of clubs on this river, that'd be real juicy.
He'll honor his name. Yeah, he'll honor his name.
So close, so close.
Yeah.
Man, that was a lot of chips to put in the middle, though. I don't think he should be calling this turn, to be honest. It's a lot. It's a lot of chips to call on the turn to try and make that straight draw.
He would have gotten paid, but he might have gotten paid.
I think there's a really good chance he would have gotten paid, but I don't think because he's out of position, it's really hard for him to play the river in a cool way, right? Like, I mean, he probably still gets paid by 2 pair, but there's like a bunch of other combos where they're just like weak top pairs that probably just check river. One's check 2, or he could lead, I suppose. That would be cool, but yeah. All right, that's a huge pot. Down to 24 big blinds now. Gambler is all over the joint here, and Ovidius. Now Ovidius. Up to 45 big blinds. What do you think, Flix? What do you think about the call on the turn? It's like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
What do you mean?
With the Queen 10,
Oh yeah, I mean it's too much on the turn. I think it's always it always sucks when your only option is to make your hand.
Yeah.
Because you're just leaving it at the mercy of the bet size of your opponent and the cards.
Right.
And that's not enough control on my part, I think. So
Yeah.
I'd rather just give up right there.
Yeah, I think if it's easier if you're in position against your opponent there and you have some cards that might offer you an opportunity to bluff. So you
Yeah.
go, I have a draw. I'm not getting quite the right price, but I definitely have some fold equity on the river if it comes a certain card or a certain color or whatever.
Yeah.
And in that situation, you're basically just trying to make your hand, or you're going to get blasted off basically. So
Yeah.
it's tough.
I think I would even, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's good, but I would even prefer to lead on the turn myself than to check call or to try and check call and hope that he just bets the right amount for me to call.
Yeah.
I would be his song though. I mean, the lyrics is on a warm summer's evening, on a train to the final table. You met up with a gambler.
on a train to a
So who
final
knows?
table. Yeah, exactly. Queen nine of spades on the button. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely
Yes.
gorgeous.
And just 3 X's.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
that's really interesting.
The thing is, like, I always wonder if people, like, if there's some plan behind it or if there isn't, or if it's just like a random size that some people just pick. But so far, what I've seen from Yarek was actually pretty good play. So I think he might have a plan here.
Sure.
Just sizing up. And he gets a fold. I mean, I think getting folds in that stage of the tournament is important and winning the pot.
Yeah, no, I've actually considered that exact thing a lot. Like, sometimes you see people just changing their bet sizings like that, or all of a sudden they have a 3x or a 4x open, and you're like, this seems kind of unconventional. But I can just think of opportunities where this actually might just be really cool, just when you want to get shit done. You're just like,
Yeah.
I don't want to open the door at all. I don't want to give this guy any opportunity to outplay me. I'm just going to open big, and if I get 3-bet, I'm going to give up, and that's kind of the plan or something. And I think there is probably some really interesting situations where that could be used as a really effective kind of just alternative.
Yeah, I did a final table analysis with Ben at one point in my stream, and it was super interesting because he taught me that in some spots at a final table, especially with ICM involved, it makes sense to completely switch your open raise sizings and go from like 4x to 2.5x to anywhere that is really practical, that just serves the purpose of
Right.
getting a certain job done at the moment and applying the right kind of pressure. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I love
I
that.
think there's a lot
There's a lot
to
to be
learn
said for
still.
that. That's so cool.
Yeah. And here we got Ace Jack again.
Yeah, but he did it wrong. He did it wrong. If you can't take it down
Oh,
pre-flop,
wait for the flop. No, he did it right. There you go.
somebody's definitely turning a set here.
Yes. No, I don't think so. I think I believe in Ovidius. I think Ovidius is going to play Ace Jack just the way it needs to be played. He's going to get like one call from Yarek, and no, not now. Maybe later. He gets that's how he does it. Yeah, he gets the bet out of Yarek.
I wonder if the flop check is just to do with like range expectation here. Like, maybe he knows he's going to get action from some like weaker Jack X once in a while. Maybe he's like concerned about sets like sixes and deuces that might come along here. They're definitely stacked in a way where they can still have all the sets, right?
Yeah.
Well, not jacks obviously, but really, really interesting to see a check here. And I wonder, I mean, that's really interesting.
Now, if he gets all the money with Ace Jack on this board, I will just bow down.
Yeah. There's definitely, this is a really interesting line.
This is exciting. I think after time making so much, I would assume that's going to be a fold. Yeah. But he got the bet out of pocket eights. So
yeah,
he played it right, Nick. He played it right, Ace Jack.
He certainly won the pot, Flix. He certainly won the pot. Yeah, I think I'm on the fence, but I think that's kind of cool. I thought it was kind of a cool line.
Yep.
I mean, you
Protect your
certainly,
equity, got some value.
yeah. I mean, you got some value. You definitely protected your hand. I mean, I feel like you find out pretty quick if you're up against a set, right? So it's pretty cool too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
interesting.
right.
Interesting. Yeah. Pocket queens for Drokos. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We still have 7 Brazilians in the running out of 16 remaining.
It's insane. Those Brazilians. I
They're
think it's. I'm pretty sure they're so good because of the passion for poker. It's just about the passion. Pretty
yeah,
sure.
they love it.
Being passionate just gets you so far. Gets you a lot. Like get you really far.
Yeah, very passionate people, the Brazilians.
But Ovidius is most likely gonna fold. At least I would expect. Yep.
Yep, seems good.
Ace 10 from our Dothrakian Drokos. But probably not going to get any action.
Is this when Knuppel just comes out of the woodwork and just starts playing Jack 8 suited here on the button?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I would say, well, usually not, but who knows? Who am I to judge? If Knuppel plays Jack 8 suited in that spot, he must have a very specific reason. Is Drokos from Romania? No, he's Dothraki, apparently. Yes, I know that. I love it.
Drokos currently playing from Malta, apparently.
Well, that makes sense. Game of Thrones was shot in Malta. So
There you
here
go.
we go. That's the connection.
There you go, guys. It's all coming together. Maybe he was an extra in the show or something.
Yeah. When I was in Malta, I was actually standing in front of that gate that was used for Game of Thrones,
Cool.
Medina.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
nice.
right. Yeah.
I didn't even know it was until somebody pointed it out, and it was actually not that amazing because it was just, I think it was the very first episode. It was just shown in the very first episode briefly, and everybody like, treats it like it's like the super special place.
Yeah.
It's not that special at all, but it's quite funny that okay, they took a shot here. So.
Sure. King 3 off here. Definitely enjoying this open. I like the adjustment here. This is quite wide.
Yep.
And
pressuring the shortest stacks.
easiest C bet of all time on this board. King of Hearts is a great card to continue barreling when the hearts come as well. It's really nice here.
Yeah.
Like very nice.
And he's getting so many folds right away.
Look at the size. Flex, we were talking about this. Look how small he goes here. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It is beautiful.
Like just
would you have ever thought like years ago that you would say like the smaller the bet, the more beautiful it becomes?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, that's really nice, guys. He just goes slightly over one big blind. It's just like beautiful. Honestly, really nice.
Mm-hmm. So we got ladies. Knuppel. Oh, I mean, we know Knuppel. He might actually find the fold here.
Yeah.
We're talking about Knuppel. So. What did I say? What? I mean, this is just Knuppel. This is just
he just knows what's up. He's like he's got his hands on his computer and he's just like, energy's bad.
Nah, he's got queens.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just feel like he might have queens here. I'm gonna let this one go. That's brilliant. I love that.
Yes. That is best. Knuppel only jams when the 8 is coming. Yes, you knew the 8 wasn't coming.
I love that.
I can see the Knuppel masterclass incoming.
Yeah, I would definitely pay for that.
Me too. Apparently, we didn't see King Queen being folded in the big blind. Some chat is talking about someone folding King Queen in the big blind. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that hand either. Okay, Jack 3 makes the best hand.
Is something that I really enjoy about poker, and I still enjoy about poker. The older I get, or the more I learn about poker, is so interesting to see that so many people just have their firm view on how things should be played, and now they go ahead and, like, sort of criticize people for, I think that was a bad fold, that was a bad call, and like by now I'm like, I don't even care anymore because everything can be correct in the right circumstance.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, and the people that learn poker in a rigid way are the ones that struggle to progress, right? Because they can't
Yeah,
they can't see things outside of their sort of their set mindset, and
yeah.
just it's the same in poker as in life, right? You need to be open minded. And aces gets the 3-bet through.
Yes, a really has to fold.
Yeah, the fixed mindset. That's the whole thing, right? Can't have a
Yeah.
fixed
I
mindset.
mean, there's obviously a lot of things to be said in situations where, like, say there's an all-in and you have to call an all-in and you can run the numbers on the
Yeah,
spot. And if you make the fold, it's an incorrect fold because it's plus EV. So there's no real reason you can find the math is telling you this is a correct
right,
call, or
right, right.
this is a bad fold, or this is a bad call. But if there is post-flop play to be made with a lot of unknowns and uncertainties, and then things that you can't factor in, I think, yeah, you can always find arguments for and against certain betting lines or for certain plays, given the situation, the stage of the tournament, the opponent type, whatever. There's so many factors and so many uncertainties.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There's definitely, yeah, as you say, there's spots where you can look something up and you're like, yep, I can see that was probably a mistake and that makes sense.
Yes,
But
yes,
even within that though as well, there's also so many situations where we're looking at sort of push fold ranges and stuff like that, and a lot of times the calling ranges are so heavily dependent on your opponent's knowing and playing the perfect strategy as push. And if they're not doing that, then actually there's even the correct call that becomes incorrect against players that are just going to be extremely tight and not even
yes,
understand how wide they
yes.
should be shoving too. So even that you need to take with a pinch of salt, even though tons of that might be considered a GTO strategy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, King Jack off, going for the open. Look at the size here as well. I guess it's
It's huge.
it's like an effective all in, I suppose.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's not just your bog standard open.
And I think it will work. No, it won't.
No, Gambler wants a piece, and he actually found a spot where he actually has the best of it too. To actually have the best
Yes.
hand in this situation is pretty spicy.
Surprising. Yeah, surprising, but it works.
All right, King high board.
Ah, there's a king.
Oh, there's the 4.
Ouch. Flop looked nice for Raphael, but he's out. And
Rafael.
Gambler is on the train to the final table.
Yeah, Rafael exits in 15th position there, guys. Takes home $1,629 and $908 in bounties. So really chunky take home there. Congratulations to Rafael. Gambler back up to 33-ish, big blind, slightly less now, actually a lot less now. And we are going to our final 13, guys. We're getting close to the final now. Everyone's getting really short. Didn't see the blinds creeping up on me there, guys. 700
Yeah.
and 1,400. So actually, yeah. Still a pretty juicy stack.
I could actually also see Gambler and Knüppel in the heads up for this. It would be epic.
I would be down with that, yeah, for sure. Okay. We're swapping here, guys. Going over to table A. Table number 144, I should say.
Zinze. Zinze. Oh, picking up a gut shot, but still up against top 2. So let's see if he fires again. He fires again. Iljukovic. Now, does he just want to call or put all the money in, or
I don't know.
I
think I would be tempted to just shove the turn here, Flix. There's a lot of bad rivers.
Yeah, just to protect your equity from. Yep, a lot of bad cards. Well, he got 2 barrels out of 9-7, so.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, not too shabby at all. I mean, once he's actually put in the bet from Tiozin, he doesn't really have that much behind to even, commit on the river if he does decide to flat, right? So
yeah,
probably just getting in and just protecting your hand, I think, is pretty nice there.
By the way, congratulations to Jules Poker, who just won the $11 heads-up Zoom for 1.1K.
Hey, congrats. Nice work.
So Jack 10 suited on the button is most likely going to be an open.
Yeah, I think it should be. What a great spot to play such a pretty hand.
And I've seen Tiltless actually being really short at the beginning. Now he's made quite a comeback. Knüppel is still in, by the way. And that's an interesting flop. Flush draw for Tiltless and top pair for Iljukovic.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could go either way here. The thing about having ace high and the flush draw in this situation, oh man, look at that, beautiful.
Wow,
absolutely beautiful turn.
Yes.
The thing about having ace high when you're facing a button open is that you will just have the best time with hand with ace high a lot more often than if they were opening from earlier position.
That's right.
So I think people are very quick to just assume they're always going to check raise with these kinds of combos, but I don't think you really need to do it as frequently from this particular position because you're just going to have an overwhelming amount of low cards that you're actually going to be beating with ace high where you don't need to turn your hand into a bluff.
For sure. It's going to be exciting to see how Tiltless plays this turn card, if he's raising or just calling. He's just calling. And he checks. I love that.
Yeah, this is very trappy.
This might actually get the max amount of value from the Iljukovic in that spot.
Yeah,
without him actually knowing that he's up against the flush. Super disguised.
God, at this stage in the tournament, to find yourself on this river with the nuts and they're betting into you is just, oh, mate, he's going to get it all. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. All right, we have just seen another knockout, guys. We're down to 12. Iljukovic exits with $2,285 and $2,845 in bounties, so over $5,000 there. Not too shabby for a take-home in 13th. But, yeah, some amazing, amazing traps there from Tiltless. Very, very brave just to try and take it to showdown and get your opponent to commit the rest. And, yeah, I think Iljukovic is going to be kicking himself over that one. But you can see where his head was at. He had a very strong hand. And, sometimes you just got to slow it down.
The same thing about poker, that sometimes checking the nuts is the best play you can have. And to make your opponent pay the most amount of money, which is totally counterintuitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in that spot, I think he really got the most out of this.
Crazy, right? All right. So, guys, we're going on a break. All right. So this is our third break of the day, guys. We are down to just 12 players remaining in this Sunday Million KO special, which means we are just 11 places away from crowning our winner, who will walk away with over $52,000 plus bounties. Currently, Tiltless, who we just saw win that massive pot with the nut flush, is leading the pack with over 100 million chips. That's a huge portion of all the chips in play. We're going to go on a 5-minute break, and we'll be back in just a second. Oh, Flix, how about that, mate? How about we were just giving the speech about different ways to play different hands and different scenarios, and the sort of counterintuitive nature of sometimes checking the nuts on the river is the best way to actually get all of the money in the middle. And and sure enough, right there, absolutely beautiful hand played by Tiltless. How do you feel about the 3 streets with the top 2 with Jack 10 in that situation?
I mean, you just know that on the river, you you feel like your hand is too strong to check behind, but also you don't feel confident or comfortable to bet your hand in any case, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you do, you can be exploited. If you bet all in, maybe somebody will fold a jack or a worse hand, so
Yeah.
you won't get paid. If you bet too small, you might get check raised all in by something that you know he turns into a bluff. So it's a really tough spot to be in, like even for an in position player. And that just goes to show how important it is to have all the different betting lines in your arsenal. No, not only just like check raising flops, or as you said, just check calling with the nut flush draw instead of check raising, so that you actually have the nut flush in your hand
Yep.
if the flush
Yeah,
comes.
exactly.
It's insane. I mean, it
Yeah.
blows my mind now and then. Back then, always, but like still now, all the time, how different the approaches can be.
Yeah.
That's super interesting spot.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think the really interesting thing about this I wish I could pull it up in a replayer, guys, but that doesn't work while we're doing the arena stuff. I think the other interesting thing about this hand in particular is that when the turn is the third club, when you're betting that turn, you will get a lot of action from one pair and a flush draw type kind of hand. So maybe he has like top pair with a king high flush draw, a top pair with a queen high flush draw on the turn, which is an incentive for him to come along, but isn't necessarily a combination that he's still going to call a river shove with in those situations. So
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's really really interesting whenever the turn is it fills up the flush, and then you do get a second barrel, because when you get to the river, yes, you have a strong hand, and yes, you don't want to be checking it behind, but there are going to be so many cards or so many combinations that he's going to have where he's not going to be strong enough to call on the river, but was always strong enough to call on the turn because he had some sort of additional draw equity that he picked up when that particular card fell. So, what kind of stuff are you targeting when you're shoving top two on that river that you're hoping to get called by? Like, would like King 10 still call, Hero call that river shove? Probably not. So is it too thin all of a sudden?
yeah.
It's a really
Yeah.
really tough spot though. I can appreciate how challenging that one particular combo is to play when you really feel like you're just too strong to miss a street.
I think it also comes down to him probably not believing that his opponent could have a better hand
Yeah,
by check calling
right,
twice.
right.
That's probably what it comes down to. And then if you feel secure enough, that just goes to show the power of
Mm,
sometimes playing the nuts like this. Because if you feel secure enough that your opponent doesn't have a better hand, then why not just shove?
yeah,
You might get looked up, and it
yeah,
might work out. But then again, I can imagine. I can't, like, it's one of those spots where I said, like earlier, I think I said that you don't feel good about the spot. You know there is a reason for it, but you
right,
don't
right,
feel it.
right. Exactly.
You know exactly it's bad, but on paper, like this is something I've been thinking about recently. Is like sometimes your gut already tells you what the best play could be, and then your head goes, oh yeah, but there's like tons of stuff that he could play this and this way, and you're trying to to get your head to overwrite the decision that your gut actually makes. Because in my situation, in my gut would tell me, I think I should probably check back with top two here and just be content. And then my head goes, nah. I mean, he probably never has a flush
Oh no,
there.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, and obviously
Yeah,
max respect to Iljukovic, because we're not talking about an easy like, oh yeah,
yeah,
you got greedy with like third pair or something. We're talking about top two. So it's just a really interesting one to try and consider after the fact. And it's yeah uh, it's kind of like what you were saying about how you wanted to how when you watch stuff like this you learn something about other people's play styles and whatever.
yeah,
And if your assumption is that everybody that we're switching now, if your assumption is that people would always check raise with a nut flush draw there, for example, then you can cap people's ranges prematurely when you haven't heard somebody say before, like we've said on stream just before the hand actually played out. I'm probably more
yeah,
likely to just flat here with a nut flush draw as opposed to check raise, like I would do if it was from a different position, blah blah blah. And just having those little pieces of information and why people consider different lines, consider playing them from different positions. All of a sudden,
yeah,
maybe he's thinking to himself, well, he always would have check raised me if he had a flush draw on the flop, because that's how I would have always played a flush draw on the flop, for example.
yeah, yeah,
And then I think what you were saying makes a lot of sense, because then hearing other people's opinions, and even if you feel like they're completely wrong, when you hear other people's justifications for the way that they play hands, you can get inside their head and you can start to sort of profile people and try and put people
exactly.
into categories of
Yes.
play and expectation.
And unless you see them progress or they progress, you sort of know how to play their ranges optimally, or like with the decision that probably gives you the most value, or that costs you the littlest expenses in some
Right.
spots. But if you play against a really top high class player, he's probably going to mix these things. Like he's probably going to mix playing nut flush draw in that situation as a check raise, sometimes as a check call. So you never really know where you're at. So this is what makes probably a really good player and separates them
Right.
from the rest. But yeah, I mean, the best way to play poker always is to do whatever brings you the most value against a certain player type or tendency. And as long as you know that tendency is true 100%, then you should go for it.
Wow.
Right?
Speaking of ace jack off, this has been the hand of the day, right? Ace jack off and going for the check raise with the gut shot and the jack of diamonds. Gets looked up. Oh, man, that's such a spicy turn, though. Both players picking up pretty considerable equity here, but obviously queen of diamonds is going to make the better flush. Oh,
I think I missed the table. Are we looking at the right table? Or am I looking at the right table?
I think so. Sorry, have I switched prematurely, guys? Sorry. We wanted to switch to table A anyway, but I was actually looking at the hand that was over here. Sorry about that, guys. We're switching to table A anyway. My apologies. It was it didn't really come to anything in the end, but
I was worrying. I was not seeing something. All good.
sorry, guys. 1 second.
Oh, we got a re-raise here. Students with the open, pocket eights. Making a 3-bet. And gets jammed on by pocket eights. Wow, nice move. And we got aces again. The joy of gaming. Are you all commentating the wrong table? Welcome to the stream chat. Say hello first. Thank you.
Thankfully, it wasn't. Thankfully, it wasn't the wrong tournament. Yeah, exactly.
Something that triggers me on my chat when people now that you can see people's first chat message.
Yeah.
When their first chat message is just something that is other than "Hi, I'm so and so. Nice to see you. Nice to see the stream" or something. Like if it's something else, I just usually get triggered.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly stuff that
loaded questions and like first time viewer. Hey, is there any giveaways today? And you're like, oh god, here we go.
Yes, exactly. Or you played that hand totally wrong. Okay, thank you for the first time message. Oh yeah, I also saw something else that triggers me. Like I talked to Joe and James last time about how when people write ace, like a poker hand with a dash in between, like ace dash ace or ace dash 10.
Yeah, we get so used to our normal sort of poker conventions, right?
Yeah. So we got jacks against ace 10. This is gonna cost Tiltless probably quite a piece of his stack.
Yeah, just to clarify something, we get this question a lot. T Money in the chat is asking. So first place is fighting for $11. No, the first and second are essentially the same, but whoever wins the heads up will also win the bounties from the player that they knocked out. So I don't know if is it safe to say it's usually about double what first place is, Felix, something like that, right? So if it's a 50K score, it's usually about another 50K in bounties. So they're playing for a really big pay jump. It's just accounted for in the bounty value as opposed to actually in the prizes.
I think this might actually cost, like this turn is such a good card for both of them. So I think this is gonna see some action for sure. Okay, this might save Tiltless. Now, this is interesting. Is Sidon's going to go for the thin river jam? I think he can. He's very likely to be up against the 10, so he does get value from King 10, Ace 10, 10-9 maybe. Can he pull it off? And he does. Wow. I like that play.
Oh,
Sick.
wow. Wow.
Sick hand.
And I think that means we have a new first place runner here. Seidens is now taking the lead. 116 million. Currently has $4,421 in bounties. Wow.
You know, since we just talked about that river jam with the Jack 10 where you had 2 pair, it's so interesting. A lot of people don't see the difference. Like,
yeah.
when you jam with 2 pair on a flushy board, it might look like, yeah, you know, that looks just about right. You got top 2, so he's probably not going to have a flush. And in that particular instance, there's a queen and you only got second pair, and you're still going for all of it.
And it still felt like a much clearer value river bet, right? Than the top 2. I was thinking the exact same thing. It is so funny how things change, right? You're sort of your perception of hand strength and your perception of, you know, what's the word? Like relative hand strength on different boards is just so incredible how much it can impact decision making.
That's right. Wow, and Gray flopping a straight flush draw. A street flash draw, sorry.
All right, Ace King, what are you going to do? Okay, putting it in. So this is less than 10 big blinds now, guys. I mean, Ace 5 of hearts might be tempted here, Flix.
I wouldn't blame him. 1.5k bounty. Tough spot. Goes for the call.
Oh, it's a big flop. Oh, there's a 5.
There's a 5. Oh boy.
Oh boy. And then there were 11. All right, so that means John Silva, however you pronounce that, from Brazil, exits getting $2,285 and $2,911 in bounty value. Congratulations. We're going to keep saying it, guys. We're down to 11 now. Knupel currently in the hot seat, currently in 11th place. Can we see our friend get another double as we head towards a final table? So
and another. Wow, what is happening here? Jack's just flatting in the small blind against the button open. Okay.
Yeah, in a bounty tournament as well. That's pretty unusual.
That's very unusual.
We're down to 11, by the way, guys, which means there has been another pay jump. $3,206 for the next player that's eliminated. Either 10th or 11th. And look at the low board. This is going to be really, really interesting because Queens is going to feel pretty great about their hand here, and I think Jacks will probably too.
Just calling again. Okay.
And then just rips the turn. And just like that. Big double.
Huge one.
All right, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get around and do the switches for you here, but they're coming fast, and I'm the one pressing all the buttons today. So we switching now to feed B.
Ace Jack winning again. We saw that one.
Managed to arrive just in time.